When you're the Los Angeles Dodgers, you have many on top of many experiences signing good and not so good players. Often, major contracts fall flat. Luckily, these bad contracts have less impact on a major market like the Dodgers, but it still can affect them immensely, swallowing much-needed salary cap and adding to the disintegration of team chemistry. Here are some of the worst deals in their history. Matt Kemp's ceiling was short-lived. It only lasted 1 year, a year that saw Kemp put up outrageous numbers: 324 batting average, 39 home runs, 126 runs batted in and 40 stolen bases. The Dodgers inked Kemp to a contract extension worth $160 million that winter, making him one of the richest men in baseball. He never lived up to the expectations, nor the contract. A year into the deal, Kemp's numbers plummeted. His average fell to 270, power numbers to 6 home runs and 33 runs batted in. He couldn't stay healthy. He looked out of shape, lazy, lost among that flurry of wealth. Never gaining his old form, the Dodgers had enough, dealing Kemp to the Padres in 2015. Traded the summer of 2008, from the Red Sox to the Dodgers, Manny went bananas. Dodger fans were chanting his name. He was adored. It made total sense to re-sign him that winter to a short-term deal. When the Dodgers inked Ramirez to $45 million over 2 years, they thought they'd be getting that superstar middle-of-the-order bat, driving runs in and adding flair. But that's when things went real south. Ramirez was slapped with a 50-game suspension for taking an illegal enhancement, and he never recovered. After the suspension, he struggled with injuries, chronic complaints, became more of a locker room cancer than a fun-loving humorist. His numbers weren't horrible, but he wasn't on the field enough to warrant his $22.5 million a year. The Dodgers traded Manny to the White Sox for beans. In 2010, it was there, his career officially flatlined. Nomar had long been one of the better shortstops in baseball. Over 9 years with the Red Sox, Nomar went to 5 All-Star games and put up 2 of the most dominant offensive seasons in league history. Until injuries took their toll, it was fair to compare him and argue his betterment, in relation to Alex Rodriguez or Derek Jeter. But that's the thing. Unlike the other two, injuries stole Nomar's best years from us. When the Dodgers inked him to the somewhat major deal, he had won Comeback Player of the Year, but he was no longer able to play short or even third base, making him nothing but a first baseman with limited lateral speed. Nomar played just 55 games his final year of the deal, hitting .264 with 8 home runs. There are only a few no-nos in baseball. One of those is simple: don't ever sign a closer to mega money. As seen by recent history, Francisco Rodriguez, Heath Bell, and Jonathan Papelbon, those deals rarely ever work out. Well, Ned Colletti thought he was smarter than this general rule of thumb when he resigned Broxton, an average at best closer to the $11 million the winter of 2009. Over those 2 years, he'd go on to save 29 games and post a day+5 earned run average. He also got torched by the Phillies in both the 2008 and 2009 NLCS, arguably costing the Dodgers a shot at a World Series. Before the deal that sent Adrian Gonzalez and Carl Crawford to Los Angeles, Ethier was the club's middle-order bat, with above-average pop and a clutch ability to deliver the big hit. You can literally mark the time those two arrived, when Ethier's abilities plummeted. Post the contract, Ethier would never attend another All-Star game, hit only double-digit home runs twice. In fact, would soon become nothing more than a platoon outfielder and coach. Don Mattingly's depth chart. In 2016, he played in just 16 games with the herniated disc and is currently set to collect another $17 million this year, despite his return questionable, with ongoing back problems. Classic Colletti, throwing money at players who were nowhere near worth the money he offered them. Jones arrived to the Dodgers, an out-of-shape, slow, lazy veteran, with about as much drive as an inchworm. Over 12 years with Atlanta, Jones went to 5 All-Star games and won 9 Gold Gloves. He hit 368 home runs, 8th most during that span, and was considered arguably the best defensive outfielder in baseball. But his prime was clearly gone, a far flame fading in a tattering of fog, which is why the $18 million a year was such a shock. Jones took it, and the rest is history. Over 1 year with the club, he missed 87 games. He was a shell of himself with 3 home runs. His strikeout ratio, one of the highest in all of baseball. a slow paunchy third baseman, was an average defensive fielder and a sporadic at best hitter, with an awkward hitting style and swing. He had a decent October with the San Francisco Giants, winning a World Series ring in 2010. And like some teams do, they cash high foolishly on a player who'd been nothing but average his whole career. Over his time with the Dodgers, Uribe became more of a joke than a seriously respected piece of their flowering future. He averaged 90 games per year, hit a combined 28 home runs. With a sickly thin OBP, fans weren't sad to say goodbye. When the Dodgers signed Mets star Darryl Strawberry the winter of 1990, it was a very big deal. Strawberry was a poster child in New York and equally as a big a star as anyone in the league. To this day, one could argue the Strawberry signing is the biggest in Dodgers history because of his magnificent popularity, which is why his bust in the Dodgers uniform is so damn bad. Strawberry's list of accomplishments with the Mets was impressive. He played in 7 straight All-Star games, won the 1983 Rookie of the Year, won a World Series in 1986. Over his 8 years with the club, he hit 252 home runs, and was arguably the best left-handed bat in all of baseball. But that's when all crap hit the fan. Strawberry quickly succumbed to cocaine problems, was busted for beating his girlfriend, the Los Angeles lifestyle too much for his long-standing addictions. His first year with the club, he hit 28 home runs. The next 2, Strawberry hit just 10, was in and out of rehab. His issues so bad, the Dodgers bought his contract out May of 1994. Rafael never did anything to earn his mega deal the winter of 2000. Up to that point, he'd won a total of 39 games over 8 years, with a borderline 5 earned run average. Why he got the deal is difficult to make sense of. He'd go on to play 4 more years, missing 1 with an injury. While battling injuries the other 3, over those 4 years, he won 9 games and pitched a total of 200 innings. Rafael would retire thereafter, citing many emotional scars for his underperformance. Considering he was drafted 2nd overall behind A-Rod, his emotional spiral is understandable. Here's the thing about the Furcal deal, it made total sense. He was easily a top 5 shortstop with a high average and an ability to steal bases. Up until his deal with the Dodgers, he did those things and stayed relatively healthy. When he arrived in Dodgers blue the winter of 2005, high expectations were among them. He filled in a solid lineup, was assured love, the 2000 Rookie of the Year and one-time All-Star poised for big things. But that is right when the injuries started. Furcal, slight of frame, couldn't stay on the field. When he was on it, he was brilliant. The deal became a major blight, despite Furcal's abilities.